Hello, everyone. I'm Connie Guglielmo, Editor-in-Chief of CNET News. Thanks very much for joining us today here at San Francisco CNET headquarters, and also to the people watching online. This is part of our Q&A series at CNET. Today, I am thrilled to have a special guest, Alicia Vikander, who many of you know from some of her more notable film roles, including as an AI robot in Ex Machina, as a cybersecurity guru in Jason Bourne, and next month, she will be part of the reboot of a very famous video game character that we all know, Lara Croft, in the new movie Tomb Raider. So please welcome Alicia Vikander.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for being here and your patience as we get all of this
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi. Everyone is a super fan of comic books and geek culture and sci-fi, but we're going to start by showing a scene from Tomb Raider. So if you could roll that so everyone can see it, that would be great.
I thought I saw Dad again. I think I'm going mad.
Lara, your father's gone. At some point, we have to face up to who we are. Who we're meant to be.
I think I know where my dad went.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
It'll be an adventure.
Death is not an adventure. What are you doing here, Lara?
7 years I've been on this island. Your father, he put me here. Now I see the likeness, the intelligence, the recklessness.
What do you know about my father?
Lara, there was more to my life than boardrooms and business deals. There's an organization called Trinity. It's looking to start a global genocide.
Your dad sure knew you had a bigger holiday.
He had a knack for the unexpected.
You must stop them, Lara. Promise me.
Really?
Ladies first.
Open the tomb!
Put it down!
It's your finger that's pulling this trigger.
You messed with the wrong family. That was more than a clip. You got the whole trailer.
All right, well, I got to see the movie yesterday, and I'm going to try to make this as spoiler-free as possible. But it looks like you had a lot of fun playing Lara Croft.
Yes.
But I've heard you tell stories about your first meeting with her when you were about 10. Can you share that?
Yeah, I remember I did not have a PlayStation in my house. I was very sad and jealous of other people. So I went to my friend's house, and I remember it was the first time I had seen a video game with a female protagonist, and I was just so curious and blown away. And after convincing those older boys in the family to play, I got the chance to. I mostly spent my time, to be honest, in the manor practicing, because I came by some of these wolves in an early sequence in the game and it just freaked me out. But that was my introduction to video games in general, actually, I must say. And yeah, I continue to play quite a lot of adventure games, mostly computer games and point-and-click games and stuff like that, but yeah.
When you were 10 and you saw this, what did you want to be at that time when you grew up?
Oh my God, I wanted to be anything from a florist to a dancer and an actress, and yeah, I actually thought I was going to be, that I wanted to be a singer or a dancer. And it was not until it was actually a clip that was found on me on Swedish television not long ago that I don't have any memory of this myself. But apparently in this interview at 7 years old, I said that I wanted to be an actress. And I actually had no clue I wanted to do that already at that young age.
Is it true that you're a big fan of 80s movies like The Mummy, Indiana Jones, and one of my favorites, Fifth Element?
Yes. Yes, Bruce Willis was my first crush. I was like, 11. Yeah. No, so I love that kind of films, and adventure film. Indiana Jones. I was a big fan of the Mummy series in my early teens as well. So to get
Brendan Fraser, that series, right?
Yes,
With Rachel
yes,
Weisz.
exactly.
The good Mummy series.
I haven't seen the new one actually, but I would. I mean, when they asked me to be part of an adventure like this, I mean, it was just a thrill. Like I said, I seek myself to those kind of computer games when I was a kid, and I was also I read a lot of books when I was a child, and I had like 7 volumes of like Ramses books. I loved Egyptian mythology and historical dramas, and so and that is very much related to these kind of worlds.
I want to ask you about Lara Croft, but just a side question. Do you still play video games? I know that you're married to Michael Fassbender, so I wonder if game night at your house...
Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider going on all the time. Yeah.
Is that true?
I wish I had the time, because that is kind of what I realized, I think, because I went back and played the rebooted games now before making this film, and I was really excited. I remember I bought the games, and I was at home, and I sat down, I was like, now I finally had time. And I guess it's also because I haven't played in a long time, and suddenly I looked down and like 8 hours had passed. And I'm like, I was freaking out. I was like, I don't have 8 hours to put, to do this more today. But I guess I had more time when I was a kid. But I really, I mean, that shows also what a world it is. I kind of forgot about time, and I really love it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your approach to this reboot of Tomb Raider. Everyone, or a lot of people, have seen the prior film with Angelina Jolie. There was a reboot of the game in 2013 and a new origin story. And again, having seen the film, you're taking this character on truly an origin story and starting it in a place that I wasn't, sure that that's where you were going to start. So talk about the journey that you took Lara on.
Yeah, because I think, that's one of the things of making... I think trying to adapt maybe a video game or any other story is the fact that you want to give people honor the character and the world that they so well love, but we also want to surprise them and give them something new. And I came on board quite early on and knew that it was going to be inspired by the 2013 rebooted games, and that it was going to be an origin story. And then when I chatted with Raw, the director, and the producers, we kind of realized that there's truly a grounded story to be told, and it's set in a reality closed doors. She has all the common traits that she's so well known to have, but she's also not afraid of showing her vulnerability, and she's human. And this is very much the story of her becoming the action hero that we so well know her to be. And I love that it was grounded in trying to find maybe a physicality, that she's a very physical person, a girl, and that so it would be plausible for her to go on this first adventure, because she doesn't have any experience in the beginning of the film. So hopefully we get to be with her and then root for her while she's going step by step to become this action hero. And
actually, you start out as a very smart but normal girl living in London.
Lost, like most young people are, including. I mean, that was something that I liked, that I wanted to kind of cherish. The fact that she kind of has people around her who once her dad has disappeared for 7 years, and she hasn't really been able to properly mourn him due to not knowing what happened. They want her to kind of take over from him and move back into the manor, but she just feels like she needs to find her own footing in the world and feels the pressure of knowing what to do or what to become. But she's a headstrong girl and she's clever. So when she's thrown out on this adventure, she not only gets to learn more about her past and who she maybe is, but she also finds courage to embrace who she is.
She's fairly kick-ass, as you would expect. And there are a lot of very physical moments, some of which match the game beautifully, leaps in the air, etc. You did a lot of your own stunts, didn't you?
Yeah, I really tried to do as many of them as I could. And then you have an incredible team. I just stood there watching some of these women stunt girls that we had who, of course, kind of made sure that we can run all those stunts over and over again. But I always did my first try, and they helped me. It was important for me to really try and get up to a physical level so I would be able to do it. And I used to be a dancer when I was younger. So I think there's always been this curiosity and just urge of knowing what it was like to make these kind of films and to do these kind of stunts.
Well, there's a scene with the bicycle that is, you're following that action. And
that was probably where I got my most wounds. Oh my God, it's tricky. We met some of it was actually me who had I found this video YouTube clip of bicycle couriers in London. I kind of brought this up in the beginning because I moved to London and I tried to bike and it's dangerous. You can die. And that's when I, said to them, there should definitely be an action sequence about this. And but it's scary.
To say Lara Croft is a cultural icon is an understatement. She has been, as of June 2016, the character on the cover of over 1,000 magazines, surpassing any supermodel. And so she's been praised as this catalyst that has gotten people to rethink video game heroines. She's been praised as a role model for women, but at the same time, she's been criticized for being a sexualized version of what this action-adventure warrior should be. And I know that you like to focus on the positive aspects. So when you went into the role, what was your agenda? What did you want to make sure that any young girl seeing this film would think?
Well, what I think, is interesting is, yes, she's really become an icon. She's been a character that has been with us now for 22 years. And what I find interesting is that all the kind of what I want to see is the essence of Lara has kind of stayed the same, but I think it's a wonderful thing just looking at Crystal Dynamics, who created this Reboot game in 2013. They knew that this is a character that has kind of changed the rules and in society. So I think they did right of trying to just bring her into our time. And it's interesting that the view of a woman or sexuality, and I think it's interesting because if you would go out now on the street today and ask what men and women find attractive, it's just a very different answer that you would get today than you got 20 years ago, and that makes me happy. And I know that I wanted to be part of making a girl be someone that a 2018 audience would be able to relate to.
Well, I also loved that you're running and jumping and doing all these stunts in clothes that women would actually wear. Just as an aside.
Yeah, well, sometimes if she ever goes back, I think she should at least have a long-sleeved sweater. I prayed for that quite a few times during shoots.
There's a lot of talk in the video game industry about how women are portrayed in video games. And Lara Croft stands above. She is one of the more notable exceptions to sort of the cliche roles that some people bring. And lots of people have called them out. And there's a whole group of people that will criticize women for criticizing video games, saying that they're being too PC. So what would you say to that group of men, mostly, not all, but mostly, who don't think that there needs to be any change in the way women are portrayed in video games?
First of all, I think we need to portray women. And I think that's the lack. And that comes, I guess, in video game as much as in film. I think we're all storytellers and we're all artists, and are kind of what we need to do is make sure that all stories are kind of able to be told. And I think there's a change. I mean, just over the last few months, I feel that it's kind of a creative boom of stories of women coming together and about female stories that start to bubble up to the surface. I really think that those people who say that it's equal, or that it's not, that it's already enough female characters out there, I don't think they've opened up their eyes enough, sadly.
You're one of the people behind Time's Up with Reese Witherspoon, Natalie Portman, a lot of other folks, and you've said that you've seen a lot of positive change already.
Yeah, like I said, I actually think that I've made more female friends in this industry over the past 4 months, and I, of course, myself, I'm part of that behavior. But I've also kind of grown up in a social structure and in a society where I kind of thought growing up that, well, there is only place for one girl. And then you end up in a position as a woman where you think you're going to have to push your way through and be competitive. And that's not really emotionally what you have wanted. You just thought that was the case. And you kind of just, sadly enough, put yourself in that line and accepted that. And over the last few months, I've been on phone calls with women talking that I've kind of people that I've looked up to, that kind of inspired me to wanting to do what I do. And I've been in the same room, but sadly, because of my working situation, I never ended up being in a situation when I actually worked with them. And suddenly, now I meet them in rooms and they're my friends. And that is, a huge change in such a small amount of time.
I'm trying to make this, again, as spoiler-free as possible. Lara Croft is known, in part, for 2 guns on her hips. And watching the movie yesterday, I noticed that you use a variety of weapons. A bow and arrow, as we can see. A knife, I think there's an ice pick. There might have even been a rock as a weapon. But there are no guns.
He never fires a gun.
So why is that? What was the thinking there?
Well, first of all, I'm just happy to know that she doesn't use any guns. I love that. It also shows a much more personality. I think it shows that she is clever and that she's innovative, and she's a survivor. She just, she doesn't go out to kill. She goes out there to create a change or to fight for a better cause.
Are you good with the bow and arrow now?
I'm better. It was pretty hard. We had one of our stunt coordinator, our main coordinator. He was on Vikings for like 7 seasons or something. And I always I remember this day when I was pretty happy. I had aimed at the bullseye, I got it, and then he kind of just he's able to run and shoot from like a 200 meters distance. It's insane. And then it was no, I can do this on a horse too. So yeah, but I was taught by the best, at least.
Mattel just a few days ago announced a new Barbie. It's Tomb Raider Barbie. It's $30. They're taking pre-orders now.
I just saw it just now at Crystal Dynamics that I visited for the first time.
I have to hold it up for the camera for 1 second, but what is it like to be an action figure? You're a Barbie. Is that weird or what?
It's so strange. Yeah, both of the things. If someone would have told me that I would, play Lara Croft one day or be a Barbie,
it looks a
I would
lot
just roll
like
my
you.
eyes. Thank you. Yeah, she's. I've heard apparently that that all Barbies kind of fall over because they're not really the right proportions. I guess I have to try.
No, this one stands up.
So, it does?
Progress.
Yeah. Great.
Do you keep anything from your movies? Some of the people here were curious about, do you take souvenirs from some of the sets?
So, the sad reality is that I actually live out of a suitcase and have done in 3.5 years. I'm just about to move in a house. I've been a nomad. So it's been Airbnbs and hotels. So I'm to try. it's the one thing that freaks me out. You would see me have a panic attack trying to pack my bags one more time because I've done it so many times. So adding things is not what I prefer. But I asked them to send to my storage. So I do have the Tomb Raider clapper as a little souvenir.
Okay. I want to switch to Ex Machina. Alex Garland was just here 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
I spoke to him this morning. Cool.
I hope he had fun.
He says hi, I'm sure. Have you seen the film, by the way? It's amazing.
It opens tomorrow,
Annihilation.
But he was talking about the role that you played, the robot Ava, an AI, and that it's, you know, a story of truly exploring the boundaries between robot and human, what that is. And when you read that script for the first time, what was going through your mind?
It's maybe the best script I've read in my career. When I see the film now, I'm still wondered over the fact that we didn't change like one line. He's truly one of the most intelligent people that I know. And he, you know, managed to kind of bring up a subject that was kind of so much kind of just about to kind of be in the air. But it felt like it was just before anyone really talked about AI. We shot this film, what is it, 5 years ago now or something, or 4? The subject interested me. Then, of course, getting the chance to play a character. It's very brilliantly in the script. He kind of doesn't have any description about her. You kind of, it's the only description is about the brain that is kind of moving around, and that is like the most beautiful thing you've seen, the machinery. But it was like a blank page, trying to figure out how she moved, what she was like. Yeah, it was just a feast to take on that part.
What do you think about AI? Do you use an AI assistant, Alexa or Siri? Do you talk to them?
I guess I'm controlled by them constantly. I carry my phone with me everywhere. Sometimes I feel I'm quite good at taking breaks, or I try to go out to dinner and not bring my phone. But I mean, yeah, it's the way we live. It's part of our world at the moment. But I need personally a bit of breaks. I'm not on any social media. Yeah.
You're moving into a house. Is it going to be a smart house?
Ooh. No, it's going to be a little cabin out in the woods.
I just read an interview that said that you're reading a book, Sapiens, that both Barack Obama and Mark Zuckerberg have recommended that everyone read.
Yeah.
Have you finished it?
Can
you give us a brief book report?
I mean, what is lovely is that I think the beauty of discussing science versus religion and how they are, you know, part of the same discussion but never really collide. I think I've always been so interested in history and science and never really considered myself being religious. And that's something I took away from me reading that book now, that I look at my faith a whole lot differently.
It talks about basically the evolution of culture. So if you don't have anything on your reading list for this summer, add it. It's a read. You trained as a ballet dancer, as you mentioned, and there's one of my favorite scenes is from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. When you come out and you're dancing to Cry to Me by Solomon Burke.
Yeah, that was not in the script. That was just me having fun.
So did you pick the music? Did you just
No,
dance?
you don't know what music they're going to add on in post-production. I don't even know what I put on, actually. I think it was, it's also when you make films, you kind of have a song and you kind of get a bit inspired. And then sadly enough, I mean, you should see films when they show the behind the scenes, because just before take, they need to turn it off. So every time now when you see a film where it's a rave, a disco, a good dance music, just like turn off the music and then you'll know that was what it was like shooting it. Everyone's like, silent disco. Yeah, that's how it is. Even in Ex Machina, they had to do that without music.
All right, I'm just being mindful of time here. Somebody tell me. Okay, we're a tech site. What's your favorite gadget?
Google Maps. I live by it. I travel. I love the fact that you can First of all, I'm a big foodie, so I kind of always come to a new place and I look up and I put it in. I have like, I actually use it a lot. I have like all my lists and like need to go to, 2 stars, 1 star. And then I also love the fact you can actually get lost. That's a nice thing. When you come to a new city, normally you kind of before was afraid that you were not going to know where you are. And then you can kind of leave it. And then you can just wander. And then you know that you will be able to find your way back to the hotel, hopefully.
What piece of tech do you wish had never been invented?
Well, bombs, I guess.
All right, I'll take that one. That's a good one. What tech would you like to have invented for yourself?
Is this going to tell too much about me?
No, we want to hear that, right?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to say, invent. I would love to. I mean, I've heard about like drone copters and things like that. Yeah, I would like to fly. Yeah, I would like to maybe have just a little backpack and
A jetpack and go?
like a little backpack and be able to fly off.
Yeah, a jetpack, basically.
Oh, there is one already.
No.
Yeah.
No. We've been cheated out of jetpacks and flying hoverboards and the like. Most people say time machine, something that can get you distances or take you back to erase a mistake. So that is unusual. Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, Tomb Raider is going to come out. Lots of people are going to be talking about, again, this new reboot of Lara Croft and where that's going to go. She starts out, as I say, as pretty much a regular girl, and you're taking her on a journey. At the end, we get a hint of how much even more of a badass you're going to become, because really the 2 guns, I mean, it's pretty a moment of fierceness. What would you like to see? You know, girls will dress up as you for Halloween and carry their Barbies, I guess, if their moms will buy that. What's the best review of this movie?
Do you know what? I grew up in Sweden, in Europe. I have a mom who's an actress, and I was kind of introduced to kind of very heavy-handed European art house cinema. But I also, since I was like 5, ran to the cinema because I love to just leave the world behind and go and enjoy myself, dream, throw myself out on an adventure and a ride. And if people have that coming out from seeing this film, then I'm thrilled.
All right, we're going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please thank Alicia
Thank you so
Vikander.
much for coming. Thank you.